Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light.
From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the schmoes know, this is DC Movie News, bringing you the most up-to-date discussion and commentary within the DC universe.
Go get 'em!
Yeah! As a team! Welcome everybody to the DC Movie News Show right here on the Popcorn Talk Network. Thank you for joining if you're watching, and if you're listening, hey, welcome in. How's it going, everybody? We got the squad. What's up, y'all?
We're rolling squad deep.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know what that was.
Hashtag SKWAD.
Hey, if anybody listens to Howard Stern, Ike Barinholtz was on today, and he dropped some stuff about Suicide Squad, kind of. He kind of said that he was not able to say stuff, and then he mentioned some cool stuff.
Then he said some... What did he say?
Well, he kind of just kind of confirmed a lot of the stuff about that Will Smith apparently is very generous with his money, and like... You know, at the drop of a hat, when Ike Barinholtz mentioned, "Oh, we're gonna miss the Pacquiao fight," the next thing you know, like there was like multiple movie theaters rented out and huge catered events, and that was like their lunch. It was like a couple of $100,000 to watch the Pacquiao fight, Pacquiao Mayweather.
That's awesome.
And then also that they were in fact out at dinner and they received like, "Oh, this is from Mr. J," and like a dead pig was dumped on the table, and then another time a rat jumped out of a box. So he confirmed all those different stories.
Wait, a rat is so much smaller than a dead
No,
pig
it was
on
a
the
live
table.
rat. A live rat jumped out when he gave that to somebody else. He's like, "Oh, is Miss Quinn here?" And apparently Margot Robbie is like this beer drinking Aussie chick who like has her own tattoo pen and really was tattooing the cast. Like they were legitimately tattooing people on Suicide Squad. And apparently she's not the best speller. She misspelled some of the tattoos.
I love that.
So she's not like this like prissy uppity girl. She's like an Australian. She's like, "I'm doing like this. I'm gonna give you a tattoo.
If you were,
Get a tattoo.
Tattoo.
if you're on
Give me a
that set,
tattoo.
if you're on that set, are
Tattoo?
you letting Margot Robbie tattoo you?
Yeah.
I have no tattoos.
Yeah.
I don't believe in them. I
You're
was
a
born
Jew.
Jewish. I would absolutely 100% let her tattoo me before she even got the full question
you
out.
Anything, anywhere?
Anything, anywhere. Wouldn't care.
So you also would not agree with Mr. J dumping a bunch of bacon on the table then? Like the
No,
dead pig.
well, you know, listen. I'm a very bad Jew. I make a lot of sausages and I eat and make a lot of bacon. I would disagree with it only if the pig was wasted.
Okay.
I can do that for you.
If the pig didn't get eaten and it was just a prank, I'd be like, that's not cool. But if he dumped it on the table and there was like, "And now the chef would like to prepare this in the kitchen for you, pernil asado, suckling style." I'm Adam Gertler, everyone. How are you?
Yeah, let's introduce everyone while we talk about Margot Robbie and dream of being tattooed by her. We are at DC. A titty. I didn't
When you
say
say
that
it,
right
it sounds
at all.
like titty.
Yep, that's exactly what it sounded like. I
give you a
realized
titty.
that. We're at DC Movies SK on Twitter, Facebook.com/DC Movies SK. I am at Jay Quasto. This man right here, extremely talented actor and DC Encyclopedia. Find him on Twitter at Mike Kalinowski. He's Mike Kalinowski.
Mikey Christmas.
Mikey Christmas.
Mikey Christmas.
over here. Yo, smile at this guy if you see him walking by in the mall.
That's right. How has the last
Or
week
if you're a
of...
guy, head nod.
Yes, just be polite. Be polite, you guys. That's all I ask. You know, it's Christmas, it's the holidays. Smile at people.
Damn right.
Give a high, you know.
High
if you-
five.
Give a look back. The old look back.
If it's July, no way.
People don't do that anymore either. The old look back. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know.
I love
I'm
high
old
five.
school. I'm old. I'm old school.
What's a look
and
back?
You're walking. Let's say I'm walking down the mall. I see you. We kind of like do the smile, and then you give the look back like.
Hey, you're hot.
Hey, we had that.
Oh.
It's there. Nothing ever might come of it, but it's that moment.
I do a lot of
The
look backs.
problem is most of these people
Think I'm fucking crazy.
You're hitting on them.
Because he
And
is.
they don't realize.
If you look back, you're
he's
hitting on
just.
someone.
Oh my!
He's
that's not
Mikey
hitting on him,
Christmas.
it's just being-
Looking back isn't hitting on
It's a
somebody.
compliment.
You're
It's a
not trying to see-
compliment.
You're not trying to see their butt.
No, that's not it at all.
No, it's not, but it's
not the
Mikey
look back.
Christmas.
It's the hey, we had the moment. See, in the
I'm
line
with
of
you.
fire. In the line of fire, Clint Eastwood talks about it. Where he has a conversation with the woman. He walks back and he's like, "Do the look back, do the look back," and she does do the look back. It's an old thing. It's an old person's thing, I guess.
If I see a girl I find attractive, I look back every time. Why not?
At her face, though.
Whatever.
But you can't see her face.
Not
Because you're
necessarily.
hoping she's going to look back. It's like that.
I know.
Never
Did we mention
mind.
Roxy Striar's here?
This
Talk about it,
magic moment.
Roxy Striar, speaking of look backs.
That's Adam Gertler. You know all about his suckling style. And this right here, wearing a alpaca top of
She's
some
from
type.
the Night's Watch. Come
Are
on.
you kidding me?
What?
I liked my intro better last week.
And her watch has
Well,
ended.
I'm not done with the intro yet.
All right, keep going.
Her
I-
watch has ended.
Granted, I
Lower your
forget.
chair.
I forget what intro I had. But she is our Wonder Woman. Find her on Twitter at Roxy Striar. She's Roxy Striar.
No, Crown Jewel.
Oh yeah, she's also the crown jewel of this show.
And also, last week you said that I looked hot in my outfit, so I'm just saying it was better.
And you look hot in
And
this
this
outfit.
week you
But
guys
this
told me I
week-
look like Jon Snow, which I think is
No,
like a
he
rather
did.
But you're
ridiculous
physically
thing.
hot.
No, he did.
I didn't say anything.
I said you look like you just got done shooting television. He said
Yes,
you look
you
like
did
Jon
say
Snow.
that.
Now you're temperature hot.
Oh yes, now I am temperature hot.
Winter is coming.
Yeah, and not quick enough.
Yeah.
It's hot in here.
Here we are, guys. Let's do this, okay?
So a lot of people had a lot to say about that trailer since last week, huh?
100%, but I think for good reason.
Yeah.
It's the only thing we've seen, only video that we've seen in so long.
Yeah.
I watched it 400 more times,
Yeah.
and I froze it every single step, and I read every article about every single still image I could find because, like, that's it. That's all we get for this year.
Easter eggs.
I went back and watched the Comic-Con trailer. And it is a completely different... Like, Lex is... There's no sign of what he did in this other one in that
know.
one.
At all.
And I love that. It
when
is
it comes to Lex, I
fantastic.
completely agree.
I know.
I completely agree.
I will say this,
It's
look.
fantastic.
So we've all had a
What?
week to marinate about it, and I will say I'm 100% nervous. I believe everything that I said
Okay, all right,
about
yeah,
Lex. But just specifically about Lex's performance, I hope that it's true, and I hope that it all works when put together.
Right.
But I'm a little nervous. And listening, and this all comes from just like, listen, I listen to all the same podcasts a lot of people listen to, and I kind of thought about it, I had to be like, am I convincing myself that he's like just... It's just going to take a lot for that, what he's doing to work in the context. It was interesting that that's what they chose to show us.
Yeah. And did you see, I'm sure you guys have, the fan-made trailers where they would cut...
They edited it.
It was done so
Yeah.
well. You didn't see Doomsday, you just heard
Yeah.
it.
Or Doomsday, the edited images that fans were making.
Oh god, when they put, but okay,
So
when they put the
cool.
extra spikes
No, I
on him,
thought
that
it
was
looked
cool.
so much better.
Well,
who's to say he's not going to grow
right.
those?
Some people think he would evolve, and if that happens, that's really cool. If he grows more bone protrusions during the fight, that would be awesome. But what? So what were your thoughts on that then?
Well, other than Roxy's point last week that we could have done without boys, could have done without that. Also, a lot of talk on the interwebs about Parademons or not.
okay, yes. So, when we brought up the Parademons, I had
NH?
mentioned how
Nah.
would Batman know what Parademons are if it's a vision of the future?
Why would he have that dream in
Right, and then I heard Mark Bernardin on Fat Man on Batman say, he thought it was maybe a vision that Wonder Woman had in Themyscira about what might happen if the two of them kept fighting. And but it was interesting. But then Michael Wilkinson, I think it's Wilkinson,
The costume designer?
the costume
Yeah.
designer, said that that's Bruce's or Ben's nightmare vision of the
that's what we
future.
all kind of thought it was.
With all these flying creatures, so then I'm thinking, it's not Parademons, it's just these weird flying things. But why would it not be look at that picture.
Yeah.
We got a couple of them, actually.
And we know Darkseid is gonna be at some point.
It's very...
So what do you think, man? What do you think they are?
I'm completely... I don't know clue.
You're
I don't know
lost
what's
here.
going on here.
Don't you think this is a clue that Darkseid is coming?
But why would he know
But then
about
how
that?
would he
Yeah.
envision?
I
that?
don't know, but they're the foot soldiers for him, so...
No, that would
It
make
depends on
sense.
where
But
in the
then,
movie this
where
takes
does the
place.
vision come from? Because Batman certainly doesn't have. That's not like in his power set.
I have no clue.
So
If you don't know, how are we going to make a bet? How
Yeah,
are
we
we
can't
gonna
bet about
something?
what do we bet? We got to...
You guys always bet.
I mean, they
Whatever
look.
he says, just say the exact opposite.
But
That's the bet.
again, how could it be a vision of the future? Because in what twisted future would Superman have foot soldiers that are dedicated to him? So it's really weird, and it almost smacks of Zack Snyder doing his whole, I just think this would look really cool kind of thing. And he puts
not
it
actually in the
No,
movie?
No way.
No, I don't think that's
No, it's in
it.
the movie. It's just Zack Snyder, I know a lot of times he'll pull an
a
image
visual
and
director.
he'll say, I just wanted to see this on screen. And then he kind of fills in the logic later. I mean, and I know that from just listening to him talk. I mean, he
Okay.
does that. He was like, I wanted to put this on screen.
Well, okay, thinking that way, what has he done, put in the movies, that you've looked at now and go, oh man, that did not work?
What in past films?
Yeah, if he does this, what has he done? Like in Man of Steel, was there something he wanted to see that doesn't work?
I think the whole of that movie with the girls,
Sucker Punch.
I think that whole movie is that.
Oh, that's a good point. Good
You
point.
know,
yeah,
and
there's no real through line.
Right,
It's
right.
just-
So when you have like a film like The Watchmen or 300, well, the work's already done. So you want a great visual director there.
Yeah, good point.
You know, some people do both. Some people do one better than the other. I think his strength is visual, and I think that if you give him justification and a great script, then I think he's your man.
I saw a lot of talk was about that they're happy that Goyer was not brought back into this, and Affleck was like, okay, I got my guy. My guy's gonna come in and write this.
Well, that's
because a lot of people look at Goyer as yes, he wrote Dark Knight and Batman Returns
with
Batman
Jonathan
Begins.
Nolan.
With those guys,
Yeah.
but like Begins, it was just him and Nolan, Christopher Nolan. Jonathan wasn't brought in until later.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah,
Okay.
so he has got some great stuff, but he's also done some really terrible stuff.
He's very prolific.
People are saying that Warner Brothers confirmed that it was a nightmare scene. I didn't see
I
it.
think that's
No,
the
it is
costume
confirmed.
work.
I was
Yeah.
about to ask, is there any chance it's not a nightmare scene, that maybe Darkseid took over the mind of Superman? That
No,
kind
I
of
think
thing?
that's
Not at this point. It's definitely some kind of a nightmare, but we're just wondering what the nature of the particular nightmare is. Like, what
Alex-
causes it?
Alex has an answer for you in the chat. He says
was it?
Wonder Woman is giving Bruce wet visions.
Oh,
Bruce sweat visions?
Wet.
Well,
wet visions.
Oh, it's like a wet dream?
some sensuality.
Yeah, some sensuality.
It's a PG-13 film.
It could be. And it does really feel like the vision
didn't
is
like that
from
one?
Batman's perspective. Because Superman was clearly evil in the nightmare that we saw, at least from that first clip that they showed during Gotham. Like, that's an evil Superman. And then Batman is clearly... the flying things make me wonder.
I'm going to say that because Wonder Woman she doesn't come in right away. And she's in Metropolis and Gotham for a very specific
she
reason.
somehow has a vision that she has to help out. Maybe this is the vision that she has.
I think she's completely separate from this stuff.
Okay.
I hear
Really?
she doesn't say a
Okay.
word for the entire movie.
Well, we have no evidence that she does speak. So.
Dropping bombs.
Dropping them.
She's like Black Bolt. When she speaks, it's just like everybody's eardrums shatter.
Roxy bombs.
All right.
Just ROMs.
What else, man?
Justice League filming is going to take up to a year. Costume designer Michael Wilkinson just be blabbing this week about a lot of things.
This is all in Brazil, right? A Comic-Con experience?
It's down there.
Yeah. He said there's going to be 6 months of prep and 6 months of shooting, and obviously it looks like Justice League 1 and 2 will just be filmed back to back, which makes sense.
Which we always knew was going to happen.
Two birds, one stone.
So it's going to be exciting when we get like two films, a follow-up to a film like
Right,
just
yeah.
a mere 2 years later and not like 4 years later.
Sometimes I have a hard time when films do this. They film back to back like this because I feel like they don't put as much pressure on the first movie because they already know that they're going to get a second one. And it's not like they're trying to prove anything or make anything as great as.
But financially,
But
they-
I don't
it
think
makes
they're-
complete sense.
yeah.
But I don't think they're doing like what they did with Harry Potter, the last
Right.
one, where it's like they filmed it and they go, you know what, we can make 2 movies out of this.
Right,
It's
no.
not
Or
the
Hunger
Hobbit.
Games. Or if you
No, no.
watch that first part of part 1,
Which I think is incredible. It's my favorite of the 4 movies.
Of the Hunger Games ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
So good.
everyone's entitled to their opinion. And the general consensus is that it's boring
Yeah.
as hell. It's a setup for 2, and then 2, there's no payoff.
Yeah, that's true.
How many are there now?
Were
3?
there-
4.
4.
Wow.
There should have been 3.
So listen, this is why this is not a concern to me. I get what you're saying. Like,
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
already such a crowded film with so many different heroes and so much going on. I like the idea that we're going to get basically a 5-hour movie split, or a 5-hour story split into
But
2.
also, yeah, you've got to think
with a cliffhanger of a conclusion.
But logistically, Affleck, everyone else is wanting to make movies with this guy.
Yeah.
So he's got a limited window he can make movies in. I mean, Cavill's probably got some time. Gal's got some time.
I don't think so. I think that the people are banging on their doors. You think they have time?
Who, Cavill?
Yeah.
Man from U.N.C.L.E. didn't hit. He's not had a string. He had. I mean, I'm
You don't think
talking.
it's gonna launch Gal like crazy?
But how much?
You're gonna wait to see it.
It
Not
might
yet,
launch
who
her, but
knows?
Henry Cavill, how much range does he have? I mean, Superman.
I thought he was great in Man from U.N.C.L.E. Great, but
I
the
didn't
film.
see it.
It's like old Arnie Hammer.
Yeah.
Everyone
Look,
wanted to work with him, but
these
it's
guys
like
are all.
He's had 2 bombs now.
They're
It's
all
like-
much busier than 99.7% of all the actors. I don't
But
think that's a
you're juggling
concern.
schedules at this point, and it's
Right.
like we've got to lock him down for 5 months. We're gonna lock him down.
Mike, that is only one logistic concern. The post-production is a whole other, logistical concern. Like, there's a lot of concerns, and there are many reasons, their schedules being one, why it makes all the sense in the world to film these two together. Not the least of which is like otherwise it would be like 4 or 5 years between movies, and you don't want to have that. You don't want to lose that momentum. It's just again, it's going to be such a huge gamble because these movies need to hit out the gate. Like if Batman v Superman disappoints, it's really going to kill momentum.
I just don't see how that's even
Possible. I am with you, Johnny. I'm totally with you.
Financially, I don't see don't think it's possible. But if it's not well received, it will slow momentum down. I don't think it's possible that it will fail financially because it's so recognizable.
It's a Man of Steel problem.
But you want, like with the Marvel films, people are craving the next installment. You want to create what are you going like this?
Yeah, no, you're right. That's
I mean,
but I think everyone's going apeshit for this one.
But no one's seen it yet. I mean, like this is all so like
people have seen.
In my majority of my friends who are all in entertainment, love these movies. I met someone yesterday. They're like, I'm not going to see it.
Yeah, you're hearing that about this movie.
And I looked at her as like,
what was the reason?
She just was always a Marvel girl, and I was just like, you're just not gonna see it.
That's her opinion.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're not even gonna go spend $13 to see it.
But again, but here's the thing: none of that matters at this point.
Opinion. They're allowed.
You think that it comes out the first week it comes out, people are raving about it.
Right.
This is the best.
Then
movie
it changes
of the year.
things.
Then she goes see it.
Yes,
that's what changes things.
Sure.
This film, more than any other, I know it sounds really obvious, guys, but like it really is going to depend on what the word of mouth is here. Because all these people that say that they're not going to see it, that will all change if people hear it's good. But people have reason, and a lot of people, part of it is how they felt about Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And now part of it is how they felt about this trailer. And regardless of what you may think, you know that the reaction of the trailer is very split, with a lot of people being disappointed in a lot of it.
I'm hoping that this BVS film will almost vindicate Man of Steel in a certain way, because
but a lot of people are saying they didn't learn their lesson because there was a lot of destruction in that trailer.
I don't mind.
And you're just like,
I have no problem with the destruction.
I didn't have it in Man of Steel. I could.
Yeah.
It's, to me, we talk about two
I mean,
sides.
especially when Doomsday's coming in. Like Doomsday destroys city blocks every time he takes a few steps.
No one complained about Avengers.
No,
he put a city in the air and was going to drop it. They said yes, we had S.H.I.E.L.D. They're pulling people off, but it was just like they took a city into the air.
Yeah.
And no one complained about it. And Man of Steel,
people did.
It was just like, I'm like, Man of Steel.
And you know what? Both films are using that as their follow-ups because Civil War, the Marvel film, is very much a reaction to what they did, the Destruction Avengers. The whole Sokovia Accords are built out of that.
Sure.
And the entirety of Batman v Superman is a result, or whether it happened after the fact, is a result of the destruction and the reaction in Man of Steel. That's the whole jumping off point. So
a lot of people were complaining too. I saw about, they said, we know how bad it happens when we go back into a previous movie and use that in this film. And I was like, well, first of all, I don't think we're going to see Henry Cavill and Michael Shannon doing dialogue that we saw that was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I think it's only going to be from Bruce's point of view.
By the way, I liked it in Back to the Future too, you ass munch.
Yeah. I like being reminded a little bit.
Yeah, I don't mind going back and seeing it from a different point of
I'm just
view.
going off what I was reading, because I read all week. I was kind of just getting into it, not getting into it, just reading and talking to people and discussing it. It was just very interesting.
From what I've seen, from what I've seen so far, Alfred could put this movie on his back right now, and that's all I would need to see. I could go watch this new Alfred do an entire film by himself. I love that guy.
What?
Ass munch. I just think it's funny that you guys are humorous. I can't laugh.
You think it's funny that we're humorous?
It's humorous. He called you guys ass munch. You took it really well.
No,
then
I took somebody an ass munch.
You called me an ass munch?
No, he wasn't calling us an ass munch. He was calling in general.
On your back, you ass munch.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Wilkinson talks again. He says that there's going to be
is it not
because it was in Brazil.
The exec's going, hey, dude,
he thought nobody had Google Translate in Brazil.
After reading everything he talked about, it makes me wonder if he's going to get reprimanded. I don't know. I feel like he said a lot. But he said there's going to be a Kryptonian quote on Superman's suit, his chest, his cuffs, his belt, his bicep. And the quote is going to be in Kryptonian, where we had thought to stand alone, we will both be with the world.
Well, that was one translation from, but that was also through Brazil's Google Translate. The version I have, it says, Gladiator was my dad, ass munch.
Oh, see?
That was a different translation, yeah.
We have so much.
So he called himself Gladiator?
No, he was referring to Russell Crowe.
So it's Maximus was
Yeah,
my
Maximus.
dad.
Yeah, but that's, again, my translation was...
Yeah.
I don't Getting back to this because we gotta move on from the ass munch because I'll lose it.
Okay.
I can't. Okay.
Let's be professional here. Professional.
Here's the thing.
Oh, that's
There's
munch.
no
I
way
love
he
it.
went
I do
rogue
too.
here and didn't get permission to say these things, which is why he's not gonna get in trouble.
There's
He
nothing
definitely-
bad about what you said, but
He didn't really give anything away.
Well,
I
Well,
think
actually-
that every single person that is attached to this is asking every question. Like, can I say this? Can I say this?
should we
Can I say
talk about the
color? Can I
next
say
thing
size?
before we talk?
Yeah.
Should we talk about the Ezra Miller thing because it's all still related to the Michael Wilkinson
you mean
thing?
another thing he said? Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the other thing he said? Do you have like the quote there?
I sure
or-
do. I got a long quote and then I have another quote.
So
All
listen
right.
to this. Yeah, in regard to the Flash being in Batman v Superman.
Okay.
Here you go. Well, I'm not really at liberty to talk about the Flash right now,
See,
but
he
it's
did say
something
that.
that you'll be seeing in the future in our films. You do get a glimpse of him, of course, in Batman vs. Superman, but I'm really looking forward to the amazing, iconic costume for the Flash and interpreting it in a way where Ezra Miller is playing the Flash. He's an extraordinary performer. He has sort of an interesting sense of humor and a youth, though. It'll be great for Barry Allen. I think he's going to make a great Flash. And I quote, he will have a thinner silhouette and not be as strong as the other heroes of the Justice League. When people asked about a certain character, he didn't want to give him the
Gotcha.
name. But it's like, so basically it looks like he's going to be in BVS as well, which goes back to what we talked about weeks ago, is there too much going on? Too many people.
I still don't think there are too many people.
If we catch a flash of the Flash, awesome.
I also
Doesn't
just
sound
think
like
it's
he's
so
gonna
funny when you open up with, I can't say anything, but here's what I will say. Like,
I'm not allowed to say this, but I'm going to say this.
yeah.
Do you guys interpret that any other way than to determine that you're going to see Barry Allen running, but maybe not in his costume?
I don't know if they
No,
need
that's not what I interpreted it as.
Bruce at his computer watching surveillance of people that he has under his watch.
That's what you. Because
That's
how
what I
I
interpret that
interpreted it
as.
is like during the Doomsday fight, this dude shows up and does something, but maybe he's not in costume
I'm
yet.
picturing Aquaman at the end appearing. That's my he will have a rise from the ocean type moment. I
Got
think.
it.
I think so.
Flash, I don't know about.
I think it's
maybe
gonna
we
be
heard the speedster in Central City.
Well,
and
chat roll, fans of DC Movie News, what do you guys think? Because I interpreted this as saying like, oh, I look forward to working on that costume, but that's going to happen later. But in this movie, you'll get a glimpse of him.
yeah.
Do we even
So
know?
not in costume,
That's what
right?
I'm saying. Yeah, he didn't even talk. He would have said we built the costume.
Yeah, no, he said I look forward to
Yeah.
interpreting that classic costume. He's gonna have a slighter physique. He's gonna be so I feel like we're gonna get like a little bit of Flash and he joins the team and then like maybe like Batman is like, hey, if you're gonna join this team, you need a costume.
Was Ezra Miller even on set at all for a single second?
They never. I know there was never a picture.
I
caught
wasn't
of him.
there every day.
Right, okay.
There were a couple of days where I was sent on fish burrito runs for
Sure.
Zack Snyder.
Sure.
He had a real thing about fried fish burritos, so like I wasn't there all the time, Roxy. That was me being
was
sarcastic.
you the one that helped with the flippers in the bathroom dilemma? That was you, right?
No, I took care of that.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah,
sorry.
I was on porta potty duty.
Doomsday. Speaking of Doomsday.
Duty.
Speaking of
Duty.
Doomsday.
Yep. Well, here's
Are
my.
you about to drop something?
What are we gonna do? What?
I was gonna say, I think if we see him, I think it's gonna be real quick.
Flash.
Yeah.
Doomsday?
No,
Flash. Okay.
Yeah.
we're back
Like,
to
I'm
that.
talking maybe no
He
dialogue.
is really
just
quick.
like
That is a defining
Just
trait.
like a fast little like,
I
oh,
feel like
there was
he's
him.
the
That was cool.
Fastest guy on Earth.
That's what I'm
Maybe, like,
saying.
Pretty fast.
But I'm thinking like if we see him, it's not gonna be like a full scene.
I feel like there might be a final team up in the end, and that's how they eventually put him down.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like the 6 members, 5 or 6. We don't know if Cyborg is going to be actually Cyborg, but there's rumors that everybody except Green Lantern is going to be showing up in some form in Batman v Superman. And I'm wondering if it's going to take everybody and then another city destructed, and then these people all come together. And then when we catch them in Justice League, they're like, all right, we got the Watchtower. We're starting to come together and do our thing.
Have we heard anything about Cyborg with BVS?
Just that there was rumors that the actor that plays him is in the movie.
Yeah.
And so there are rumors that Cyborg does appear, but I feel like I feel like the destruction in BVS is going to
Someone
be
saying there is a
resulting
picture.
in.
yeah, I'm looking
picture
at
of
that.
what?
Goddamn, Zordon said Ezra and Momoa are together in Detroit 100%.
People claim there's a picture. I think
There was at a bar or something.
like a
though.
zoom. Oh, the one I
it-
saw was during that big fight where Wonder Woman were like, "Whoa, what's she doing?" There's supposedly like a
She with you?
electric
Oh, so from the
flash thing.
trailer.
They're claiming that was it, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now I know there's pictures of Momoa out at a bar in Detroit. Like people took pictures with him.
Oh,
but I
I
don't
see.
remember Ezra
Yeah.
Miller with him. Maybe if that's what they're talking about.
There were people claiming that you see him for if you freeze frame it, you
I
can see the
gotcha,
flash in the
okay.
trailer, but like that's people just maybe
Oh,
guessing.
okay.
I'm
But
always-
listen, this is all very positive because if some of
yeah.
this stuff is true, then it means that there's a heck of a lot that they didn't show us in that trailer.
Right.
And this again goes back to the bigger point, where it's like, listen, fans may edit a great trailer, and this trailer may have been disappointing that it showed too much, but ultimately,
No,
if the
it
movie
wasn't.
is awesome, then no one's gonna care
I'm
about
just
them having
curious,
given away too
why-
much in a trailer.
Where does it come from? There's too much.
That was just what I was going to say.
Let's say Star Wars. Take out Luke, Leia, Han, and Chewie. That's you've got over half a dozen people, new characters we're being introduced to, but no one is going up. Star Wars, too many people in it. Too many.
No, that's not what I was going to say. I
So
thought you
why-
would say that they showed us too much because I don't get where
trailer?
I
Yeah,
don't get where
that's-
that comes from.
No,
because
oh, are they-
if anybody could sit down and tell me what happens in this movie, then I would believe that. But you can't do
You
that.
can't.
So
I think
maybe
it's-
it's
I'll
too
tell you
much.
why. I'll tell you why. To play devil's advocate, the thing that a lot of people have said that was too much was that you're calling it Batman v Superman. Yes, you're calling it Dawn of Justice 2, but just to show that the fact that they resolve their conflict in the trailer is, even though we all know it's going to go there, it was like, why show us that in the trailer? At least we're going along for the ride.
There was, to this trailer, which a lot of trailers don't do anymore, there was a beginning,
It'd be like
middle,
showing,
and an end.
it'd be like showing a Macbeth trailer, and then like you'd be like, oh my god, Lady M's a bitch?
Yeah.
Who?
Exactly. You didn't want to know that. I'm not spoiling
Not what-
Macbeth for you guys.
That's not what it would be like at all. It's just in no way,
But
shape,
that's
or
why I
form
went
would it
back
be
and
like
watched the
that.
Comic-Con trailer, and there was just, like stuff I completely forgot about. And
I
just
prefer
like,
that trailer.
Lady
That
Lady
trailer is
Macbeth
amazing.
is not a bitch,
tone.
guys. That was not a spoiler for
We
Macbeth.
talked
I just
about-
want to say.
We talked about last week about how the trailer that just got released was for the
audience, general audience.
Yeah, and someone actually tweeted us this past week and said, you guys are spot on with that because now my wife wants to see it and she knows nothing after watching that trailer.
And
Right.
you
Jon
do,
Snow.
and you need, yes, it's.
Yeah.
It was for the general audience. It's going to be
And the
released with
international
Christmas movies.
audiences, even more.
Yeah.
Even more, I think, because how much more are these movies geared toward international audiences and China, and more than anything. So it's like, it doesn't translate maybe in another country. If you're
Here's-
like, what are you telling me, Batman v
it's-
Superman? That makes no
Yeah,
sense.
and of course, people don't. We in this small United States don't realize international filmmaking box office. That's the money now. We're kind of like an afterthought, and that's why a lot of movies. It used to be we were released in America first, then everyone else. We're the last to get it a lot of times.
a lot
now.
of times, yeah.
And like all the Avengers movies, those ones they go first. They'll show them everywhere else. Like
Yeah.
England gets a big one,
And even like Roland Emmerich's going back to Independence Day, and I'm actually going to be interviewing for FX next week, and like I know one of the main stars of the new Independence Day is a big time Chinese box office star actress. The films are geared toward the world box
that's
office
why,
now.
To use one of the everyone probably watching this knows Avengers. That Asian actress for the Doctor was like. She's a huge star in Asia.
Exactly,
And
yeah,
we're all
yeah.
like, who's this random person? And
Yeah,
why
yeah.
is this scene in China that they got to put it there? They put that whole scene in China with Vision because Chinese audiences flock to these films.
Yeah, for better or
it's-
for worse.
And that's why yes, we would love they're made just for us and catered to us, but they've got to
Yeah.
get every other demographic in every other region.
So I'm with you guys. Like I enjoyed a lot of those fan edits more. I'm like, yeah, totally, that's better.
The one fan edit was so well done. I think it was only 2.5 minutes, and it just perfect.
But it kept everything in it still. It was still very. I mean, not everything. It kept the same tone. You got the jokes, the humor.
We didn't see
Boys!
Doomsday.
That didn't bother me.
Actually, no, it got rid of boys. It got rid of boys.
Why is everyone
Batman.
comparing him to the Riddler? I love
Because
Batman
it's
Forever when I
very
was a kid.
manic. He's being very manic.
You
And
know,
that's never been a defining Lex Luthor
I'll say
trait.
this. I still remember before the movie was out, in the trailers that we had seen, everyone still hated Heath Ledger's Joker. When the movie came out, it was different, but even in the trailers, they were like, what's this voice? And he looks like his lips are wet and he's licking, he's got
Dude,
chapped lips.
I'm
and
with you. And listen,
people hated
I'll go
it.
down on the record as saying like this. I'll take a questionable trailer and an awesome movie any day.
Yeah.
How many times do movies cut great trailers and then you see the movie and it was like,
Exactly.
that sure made a great
Or
trailer.
sometimes it's not as often. It's the opposite, where you look at the trailer like, and then you see the movie, you're like, oh, that was good.
I just want
They
to
didn't know how
check
to
in for
market
a
it,
second
yeah.
here with the chat. Hugh says Lady Macbeth was a ho-yo.
Hey.
And
Okay.
this one's for
Spoilers.
you, Mike.
Oh, no.
Ronaldo says, did anybody else suspect Doomsday before the trailer? Which I know you think that everybody in the world.
Let's
is
get-
this the guy that I was talking to online for a
don't
while
know.
too?
He asked that, so I
I'm
think
sorry.
it's
I
gotta
thought
be a
everyone
stab
was.
at you.
I thought everyone was in
Let's
it.
get
that
to-
we all knew was Doomsday.
Let's get to Doomsday. There was an article in comicbook.com this week that is asking, will they kill Superman in BVS? Because obviously Doomsday kills him in the early 90s. But here's the thing. Lex would be the one that wants to kill him, right? So it's just a fun article to read.
Well, and this one, Lex obviously has a lot to do with making Doomsday. What they're referring to in that article is the fact that in the comics, after Doomsday kills Superman, quote unquote, Lex laments the fact that he didn't have as much to do with it. And he's sort of apathetic about the whole thing. And then, of course, the notion that like Doomsday is meant to kill Superman. Now, clearly, this is a different situation.
Right.
It's a
Right.
different take on Doomsday. But by introducing Doomsday, you have a villain that, because we know that he could kill Superman, he needs a Justice League. He needs other people, and that's why Wonder Woman has to come in, and Batman, and maybe a glimpse of Flash. So I don't see this movie ending with a dead Superman.
No.
So I
You don't know that.
It was fun to read.
No, don't know it.
Can you imagine walking out of that theater?
I'd be
Doomsday
like,
murder Superman.
So
done.
here's a question. So
JLA
Doomsday,
forms.
we're saying Lex, Doomsday, they're the main villains. Do we see a glimpse of Darkseid at the end of this? Because
I
technically,
would think they'd be setting up for.
isn't this leading to the Justice League follows this storyline wise? Does it not?
yeah, I mean, I guess it's like Wonder Woman and then Justice League.
Okay, I'm just watching the chat here. Someone made a really good point that we've said before. Is like, what if it's not Doomsday and it's just a mutated Zod, Bizarro?
It's 100% Doomsday.
Have they said that?
No.
No, but it's 100%
Is that why he doesn't
Doomsday.
look like it?
He does pretty much look like it.
He looks like Zod's
like
head.
the Zod with the scar. They look identical, and that's what Bizarro is a clone of
He looks-
Superman
he looks
in
like
his
Flippers.
DNA. So it's like, is it? Are we going that way with it? Are they going to call it? Because I guarantee they were not going to say. Lex is like, oh my Doomsday. Yeah, they're never going to use
You
that
might
word.
call it his Doomsday device, or it's
Project Doomsday.
Project Doomsday. It's a Doomsday scenario. Whether it's called Doomsday or not, it's 100% Doomsday. But just by
but it
looking
makes
at
a good
it,
point. Maybe it's not.
I'm
just throwing devil's advocate. I'm
respectfully
throwing stuff at the wall.
disagree. I understand, and other people were saying it was like another villain, possibly. What was it?
But I think because we got the Zod in there, he talks about the webbed hands. I think you're gonna see it growing. And when he talked about webbed hands, that was the scene they're filming. Oh, I gotta go take a leak. He had prosthetic hands because his fingers were growing.
I hear you.
Into this bigger.
I hear you. I think this interpretation of Doomsday is grown out of a mutated clone of Zod or
So
something
you think
like
it's
that.
a Doomsday Bizarro hybrid for the film?
If it's not Doomsday, they're sitting there laughing so hard
Yeah,
right now. Like,
right.
jokes on you.
That's
guys.
why I'm
Oh,
thinking.
guys.
That's what I'm thinking because he just blatantly just
Swerve.
shows up. I'm telling you,
Not
I think-
Bizarro.
There's
First of all, it's
Swerve.
not Bizarro because that's a reflection of Superman.
Right, but
I think
Zod
it-
is Kryptonian, and they are. He's a reflection of who they are.
Wait,
I'm
I don't know who
they're-
this is. Who's Wraith?
Oh, that's some people were saying it was maybe Wraith, but I mean, if it certainly looks a lot more like Doomsday
Batman's
than
villain
Wraith. No, it's a Superman villain too.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Batman
I
villain,
looked
Wraith.
it up. I saw it online, and I'm like, I
Okay,
just
I
don't think so.
I do not know that character.
I think it totally looks like Doomsday. You definitely see the bone
Like
protrusions
everybody
there.
in the chat right now. Wraith.
Interesting. There's probably Superman fans. So
I feel like there's some kind of. Swerve,
I think there's a
man.
swerve coming.
They wouldn't
Something's
just throw him up there.
I
like that.
certainly hope there
Maybe I'm
is. But either way, whether there's a swerve or not, I think again that contention has to do with the fact that you showed them teaming up already, which is like so you already know where
you
that's
know that
going.
they resolved their
Right.
conflicts.
If you read a synopsis, you knew that already.
That's
if
true.
you're-
This is true. Good point.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, they're not going to stay enemies.
Yeah.
It's
Why is it a
baffling. I
surprise
don't
to
get it.
us?
I think that's the weirdest complaint I've ever
We
heard.
know they become the best of friends. It happens.
bestest.
It's not a
Bestest,
surprise,
I'm
but
sorry,
like
but
okay, but if you were gonna
They
show
do.
if you were gonna show Of Mice and Men and assume that most people have read of Mice and Men, are you gonna like show like the twist scene in the trailer?
Ooh.
But we know Superman and Batman are
No, but that's not what that is. This isn't a twist scene.
right. It's not. It's
This isn't a twist.
Are they saying because Batman vs Superman, because the title we're going off that we're gonna fight, we don't know how it's gonna end, everyone. This is a new cinematic
Yeah,
universe.
it's kind of just like let us see that
No.
for the first time.
They're gonna
though.
end it, and they're gonna show that handshake and the two of their hands gripping each other and shaking hands, and it's gonna be like that's gonna be in it. The two of them
Yeah.
shaking hands, helping them up off the ground in the hand, and like we need each other. That it's a given.
Mike
Okay.
Johansson says, by the way, anyone else think Do You Bleed comment might be Doomsday, not Batman?
I don't.
It sounded like that metallic tinge.
I'll tell you why I
but
don't.
I'm not gonna say no.
I tell you why I don't think that. No, I don't know, but I don't think that because it doesn't seem like they're going to be having too much of a conversation with Doomsday.
I don't think
Yeah.
he'll have the mental
he doesn't seem like to
to
have too much to say.
faculties.
Well, if it's a Zod clone,
Faculty.
Faculties.
But maybe he does.
But if it's Zod clone,
Zod's a smart
and he's got
dude.
that like the grunts and the hulkish.
It seems to me that this thing is supposedly it's like your classic like Lex Luthor is controlling this thing until he's not
yeah.
that old
I could
chestnut.
have sworn that he talked about somewhere where it was hints of he has armor. Lex has the armor.
No, that's a rumor. I
Okay,
mean,
all right.
no. From near as I can tell, Lex Luthor is Dr. Frankenstein
There you go.
Okay.
to Doomsday.
Yeah.
And he wants to make the call. Like, he's like...
Or does he step in and save the day?
Does Lex save the day? So Doomsday's already out, and then that whole thing where we see Zod coming in is totally
and
separate.
Clark, of course,
That's
knows
the
it's
swerve.
like, I saw what you did. And he's like,
Yeah.
no, everyone, look what I did.
Yeah.
Not them. I saved us.
Could be.
That's a good point. That
Because
would be great.
he's probably got a fail-safe to deal with it.
Yeah.
Roxy, I see your face. What's going on?
Emilio Sanchez says that's why it's V and not VS.
No.
I don't
They
think-
talked about that.
What?
The reason, because everyone was like, why isn't it VS? And Snyder said something, this has got to be like a year ago, why it's just the V. I don't remember the quote,
What does
guys.
the
and-
V mean? I thought it was short
because
for...
VS is versus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And V is, I forgot the
I'm
article.
pretty
I
sure it's the same
apologize.
thing. Like,
V is also.
But I think it's like,
Verse?
in a
No, it's
in a
versus.
legal
I don't
in a
remember,
legal
I'm sorry.
parlance, right?
Oh, yeah,
it
it's
would
all
be
right.
in the legal parlance it would be like the state v Superman or something like that.
Yeah.
they've discussed that, and
Yeah.
I think there was a very big reason why they chose V instead of VS.
Whew. Someone hit at the SARS for us. Let's make it happen. You know,
Well, if you
but
put
never go
in,
with BD.
here's the thing: if you put the VS, I think then you are expected to pronounce versus.
What if I just say it's VS?
And they want to
then?
say Batman v Superman, just like you would say in court. If you put the VS, it would be pronounced Batman versus Superman.
Well,
and
Emilio
it's not
says,
what they're calling it.
Emilio says V as in an issue, not VS as in fighting, so
Oh.
you know they'll come together.
Ah, well,
See, that's a smart man.
then there you go.
Okay, but I mean, in a legal battle, they don't always come together.
They come to some form of agreement at the end, though.
I guess.
Connor said he said it's just V, so it's not a standard VS movie.
Like Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
Could be.
All right.
It just adds something to it. It's like an epic quality.
Yeah,
It's
and I think
just-
I think it just reads better.
Yeah, on a poster.
I think it
again, we got to
sounds
think
better.
about marketing.
Yeah.
What looks better on a poster?
I don't know. Either way, pretty cool. Also, quite cool is
getting in depth here
Aquaman
today.
action figures, y'all, from Brazil's
Did you
Comic-Con
guys see this?
experience.
It was awesome. It was great. We
we're
had the
gonna-
color, we had the green and the gold in there.
There he goes.
It looks like a great combination between the pictures we've seen of Momoa and like that new redo they did of Aquaman, a number of years ago, where they gave him the
Yes.
long hair and the beard and everything.
Here's another thing, and I think there was a lot more color. A lot of people give a lot of crap to Man of Steel because the desaturation that they used, the filters and color correction, and
It actually didn't bother me.
no, it didn't bother me at all. But
neither.
I've noticed the Winter Soldier, my favorite Marvel movie, and also now Civil War,
It used
they
that a lot.
desaturate the hell out
I
of
know,
that.
and I love it in that movie too.
But no one bitches about it.
That's my favorite Marvel movie.
Oh,
is
my
that
Winter Soldier's my favorite, too.
If you
Absolutely.
So
like
good.
something,
So
you
good.
don't pick it apart the same way that if you dislike something.
Yeah, because ultimately it either works
So,
or
but I
doesn't.
think you look at stuff, other things with blinders on too.
Yeah.
You can't go, "Wow, I like it in this movie, but I'll get a chance in Batman Superman."
Yes,
but they
you can.
don't. You can, but most people don't. I'm
Oh.
finding that they're very much, yes, this does it right, so I'm going to stick with it. But someone else is trying it and they don't. But I think we saw a lot of color in this movie. I think the pictures that Zack Snyder originally put out, like the first saw we have Affleck, the first thing when it said Unite the Seven with Aquaman, he desaturated that with filters.
Sure. Yeah.
That
I
looks
think that might be
so
truer to what we'll
badass.
see in the movie.
Guys, might be. While we're talking about Aquaman.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I can't wait to see. Look, that's one thing they didn't show in the trailer, right?
Here's a good
There's
point.
no Aquaman shown.
And we've got his action figure. We don't have a Flash action figure.
Well, if Flash is not in costume,
Right.
it would
So
make a
that,
lame action
again,
figure.
And
Yeah,
maybe
so-
they're keeping a couple things secret, hopefully.
I don't, but stuff like that, that's how everything always leaks out.
Star Wars,
like
no
a
Luke
couple-
action figures.
But there's some toys that have come out that have, there's a
The
Ray
ships.
figure, that some came online today that spoils the thing in the movie.
And,
really?
and,
I
the,
mean-
Lego, and the
So-
Lego ships too. that come
Legos
out.
always, to me is always kind of iffy because they'll show a kryptonite helicopter. But,
Right,
but,
yeah,
but
because,
something
yeah,
with
things
something
that
with
don't
Ray
exist.
just came out today as a toy. So and you got to think toys. They market those toys and build them while they're filming the movie, and they've got to get them out and put skin numbers on them so that retailers can see what it is.
That
so-
reminds me of another funny thing that happened on Howard Stern today. They had a guy who did an impression of Harrison Ford call a Star Wars fan who was like a real geek.
Aw,
And
that's mean.
It was
I mean,
mean.
that's
And then he
terrible.
starts, he's like, all right, I don't want to know. He's like, I'm going to tell you some very specific plot points about The Force Awakens. And he's like, all right, I don't want to know anything. I don't want to know anything. And then he starts saying, he's like, at the 22-minute mark, the Millennium
That's-
Falcon is exploding. And the guy starts crying and stuff. Oh my God, it
No.
was terrible. They called him back afterwards, let him off the hook, but like, yeah. To think of the emotional roller coaster, like, Harrison Ford's talking to me, oh, I'm so excited, don't tell me about the movie. And then he starts like, and he's like, I get killed. I get killed.
But I'm gonna
You
do that.
believed him?
I'm gonna do that to
The
someone.
I believe
He was
him.
all in?
Oh, he was all
You
in.
never know. They probably knew some guy. Someone on the show probably knew the guy to call, and they knew. He'd
Yeah,
said
they
that
had
over.
met him at like a thing. They do a lot of that.
Well, real quick, we got to move on because we got to get to TV time in a bit. But
To what?
TV time. We got an Aquaman update. Screenplay has not begun. James Wan is filming The Conjuring 2, but they do say it's, quote, a working document from which to write, and Wan is a serious Aquaman fan, and there you go, moving on. Justice League Dark officially has a director, Brendan Brees. He was an assistant.
Yeah, this is really weird because I was just looking at that article and it sounds really exciting, but I still haven't heard it added officially to WB Slate anywhere.
This is the article that I found.
I totally saw it. Was it on Movie Pilot?
It was on moviepilot.com. Okay. This guy was a second assistant director on Moneyball as well as Ant-Man, so doesn't have a ton of.
But he's been on these sets.
Those movies.
I do too.
Sure.
So he's been on these sets. So what do you guys think about how much Justice League Dark information is going on? Is this like Warner Brothers just not officially announcing because they don't want to muddy the waters?
It could be a big ass.
Justice League Dark to me seems like because this was before we had talk of this with Guillermo del Toro before even Batman vs Superman was announced.
Yeah,
like
before
I'm saying 2011 timeline, 2012.
And doesn't it seem weird to put out a Justice League Dark movie when you've got like a Justice League in what 2018 is Justice League, and then
I don't think it seems weird, but I think exactly what you said, muddying the waters. Like they just it's just clouding everybody. They want everybody to focus right now. This is our slate, but I do think it's still moving forward.
Justice League is coming out in 2017.
Yeah.
So Wonder Woman and Justice League both in 2017.
Sure.
And then Justice League Part 2, 2019?
Yeah.
I can't believe I can't even keep the...
2018 supposed to be Shazam, but...
I don't think that's happening.
Yeah.
You think The Rock is just that?
I thought Shazam was 2019.
Well, what the hell is 18 then? Something's 18.
Flash is...
Okay.
Flash is 18, just GL's 20.
GL's 20.
Which everyone was behind me
Cyborg
by
was
saying
20.
Hal. If you guys read all our comments and fans,
Well, there was apparently
saying Hal.
Everyone now looks like Hal and Jon Stewart.
Yeah, it said kind of Hal and Jon Stewart.
Which is fine. Listen,
they're going New 52 with the 2 lanterns per sector.
I'm gonna just update everybody.
So we were both right.
Yeah, please.
Sweetheart.
All right, honey.
Again, so
I'll take 2 GLs per sector. I'll lose my guy for now.
And you'll take my Hal.
And I'll take your Hal.
Okay, I still
We
think
can come to an
Sylvester Sinestro is going
agreement.
to be in there though.
2016 we've got BVS, Suicide Squad. 2017 we got Wonder Woman, Justice League. 2018 Flash, Aquaman.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
2019 Shazam, Justice League 2. 2020 Cyborg, Green Lantern.
That Shazam.
Well, we already know Shazam's in question because they were already like, oh yeah, that's going to be at the New Line. We're putting it over there. Yeah.
Lastly, before we get to TV time, Jeff Buick, CEO and chairman of Time Warner, speaking about Wonder Woman, says, we think this could bring an underrepresented female audience to the genre that frankly has not been served well in the past, and that could be exciting. Yes,
I know.
Adam Gertler.
Roxy's a girl.
I know.
You know one. And it's me.
So you should. Okay. So what can they do to get you to appreciate the genre since you hate it so much?
Yeah, it's tough, man.
So
probably like Wonder Woman or something. That's the only thing.
Like what kind of advertising things?
It's got a
Wonder Woman feminine products.
What's your qualm with this?
I know I have no qualm. I want to see a Wonder Woman film. This is tough, and this again comes from an entertainment background. Female-driven movies, the audiences, the women don't go to them. And that's why we don't see them.
But hopefully this
you
one.
need to.
I think that's changing.
Roxy, the Tomb Raiders, the Salt, which is a phenomenal. Has anyone seen Salt?
We're 10 years removed from those. Though.
Salt is a phenomenal movie. It's fantastic. It's a Jason Bourne, but with a female lead. It was written for Tom Cruise, and his name was Ed Salt in it, and he backed out. And so Angelina Jolie came in and said, "I want this."
No, I think it's changing though, and
But
I think
no one
Star
goes to
Wars
see
is
it.
going to be a big deal
And I'll say that on
changer.
that. And
I think Wonder Woman though.
Female-driven movies.
I think Wonder Woman is the film that will drive.
And it
I
needs
disagree
to.
with that. If you think about like Cake, Still Alice, all those movies.
But
that
those
came
are
out
not
last,
big films.
What
No,
movie?
no, I'm just talking about the movies that came out last year that were female-driven. The biggest female-driven movies of last year. Those were.
But we're not
Cake
talking
and
about quality. He's talking about audience, and
Yeah, I'm
that's
not
really
talking
different.
quality. I'm
And
not
Cake
talking
and Still
quality.
Alice didn't make
he's
any
talking
money.
about female-driven. Female-driven movies.
He's
That
saying
was your
audiences
qualification.
coming out to see it. We're talking about blockbusters now. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Which
Look at it
audiences
as a
went
whole.
out to see them? That's what I'm
Cake
talking
and Still
about.
Alice?
Yeah,
Which
all
one-
female
what movie?
audiences. They were both nominated last year.
I don't
for,
think you
that
can really
female
compare
performance
the
or
success
whatever.
of a Still Alice or a
It's
Cake
not-
to a
it's-
Wonder
no,
Woman.
It's not the success. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when there have been female-driven movies, women do go out to see them.
But what I'm telling you is that's not the same numbers. If the same amount of people went out to see
Because
Wonder
it's
Woman
not-
as Still Alice,
It's not at as big of a platform. If you're giving it a bigger platform, what
I
I'm
think
saying
it's
is when
apples
you're-
and oranges.
Here's a great example, and it goes into the whole aspect of filmmaking, merchandise. Those merchandisers are in they talk with the studios and say that's why when we get a case of action figures, there's one Catwoman figure and 15 Batman, because women don't buy that stuff. Little girls, they go and they buy the guy action figures. Even girls will do that, and that's totally awesome.
So you don't think that there's going to be a large female audience for Wonder Woman?
Well, that's what
There
we're
needs
talking
to
about in
be.
this article.
That's what we're
He's saying maybe we're going to see a
needs to
different
be.
way of marketing a film
Yes.
to female audiences. That was very much what the what was it, the CEO of Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
So what does he specifically say about it?
He does say, this could be huge for the underrepresented female audience that frankly has not been served well in the past, and that is very exciting. And I think Wonder Woman is the one to do it. There's so many people.
But he also, there was another quote where he talks about specifically the marketing aspect, and he's like,
That's
maybe
the
we can
huge
see a
thing.
different kind of marketing.
Oh, the marketing's
You
gonna be
can't
huge.
market it as you need to treat women like men. Don't treat it like a feminine movie and this. That's like treat it with empowerment in women in that aspect. We've got these great women like Ronda Rousey
He
and all
treats
these.
objects like women, man.
We need to treat. That's where it needs to come from.
Lebowski.
Here's a great thing too. You got the Star Wars films. And there's this fantastic actor in the role, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's the first African American actor lead in a Star Wars film," but they're not pushing that. But also look on the shelves. The Finn action figure is the only one that is not selling out of everyone else. They're selling. They can't keep the female stormtrooper in stock.
Right.
But
Phasma.
And so these African Americans that want their characters represented in these giant movies, you guys need to go out and buy those action figures, because marketing season goes, well, the Finn's not selling, we're not going to make more. So the numbers trickle in.
Is
like
that a fact? Is that a fact that that
Oh my
action figure is
God.
not selling? I
Well,
mean,
go
I'm not.
to Target, go to a Toys
I
R
will
Us.
not. I will not go
It's
shopping
just
in
not-
public.
and there was a big article
anytime in December.
Forbes magazine posted an article, and it's like it's the one figure that's not selling. This
Okay.
female stormtrooper
Interesting.
can't keep it on the shelves. The Rey figure can't keep it on the shelves because girls are going to buy those. Girls are finally like a female Luke Skywalker type character. Yes, I want to see this, but the African American audience who want their characters to be treated just like not a race card, it's just a lead in a movie, but they're not buying his merchandise. It's a huge thing, and they're kind of like, go look.
I find that surprising.
I think it's a problem that people aren't buying it, not just that African American people aren't buying African American products. I'm saying the figure, anybody, people in general.
Why not though?
What do you mean? Why not what?
Why aren't they buying it?
Who knows?
Why aren't we? Why aren't we buying it? That's the point.
I'm not buying any of those action figures because I do not have the space. I have my AT-AT from 30 years ago.
I'm just saying, there needs to be. It just can't be looked at as like, well, why aren't they making movies with ethnicities in lead roles? Because there's so many other factors. Because these actors are phenomenal. Like the guy John Boyega is a phenomenal actor. But if the merchandise that goes along with these movies, that's what sells it.
What
is the
you're trying to say
merchandise.
is, unfortunately, it always comes down to money.
Right,
Often.
it's all commercial,
and
right.
That's right.
So we need.
Okay.
I mean, with the marketing, they will think about this, and it's going to be a test. It is going to be a test to
So
see
you're
what
saying
happens.
Wonder Woman tampons are not going to happen?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
We'll see.
I think the merchandising is going to be phenomenal, and I think the movie is
would
going
buy
to
that.
drive an incredible audience. In my opinion, I think
It
people are very, very excited.
I think the time is right. I mean, look, Jessica Jones is now like one of the highest,
Yep.
most well-reviewed shows of the year. I think the temperature is going to be perfect when
Yep.
Wonder Woman arrives in
and
theaters.
it's Wonder Woman.
The audience
It's
will
the
be there.
Top notch.
But the movie has to be good.
The movie has to be good.
Because I
Did you
could.
guys see that? Sorry, you just mentioned Jessica Jones, but did you guys see them tweet back and forth at each other, Kristen Ritter and Melissa Benoist, back at each other, like supporting each other's shows?
Yeah.
That was so freaking cool.
Oh, nice.
They Instagrammed like watching each other's shows, and they're like, "You're the most kick-ass woman on television." I guess they're friends from some sort of
I love
moving
Melissa.
out here. But
I
it's
would
really
love
cool.
to make them all dinner.
Hey, me too.
The good thing, and
Gal
I
Gadot
know-
can come.
Sure.
we go back and forth on Marvel DC. I think even if let's say one of them doesn't do well, Marvel will still push forward with Captain Marvel.
Of
and be
course.
phenomenal. And I think
yeah.
that's a fantastic thing to say to that company and the way that they run their business. They don't go off of, well, that happened with this, so we're gonna kind of maybe not do that. So I think
I'm just
Marvel
wondering
does
how they're
that
going to
very well.
justify calling her Captain Marvel.
I'm not gonna
That's a weird one, right? Like, it's like Captain Marvel is a moniker, and I know it comes from the male figure, but let's be honest, it's called Captain Marvel because it's Marvel. Good luck on that ace.
Speaking of weird, it's time to get to TV time. y'all.
Oh no!
It's time for Roxy Striar's TV time. Sing
Was ever in the booth?
Roxy
Most
Striar's
on it.
TV time. Yeah, Mercer's always on it. DC movie news, it's time to talk. TV time.
And a
There
perfect
is
time to
no
shout out.
participation over there.
What?
M.
Because you
Vol-
look at me
Wait.
like rude, like every time I sing, and you're
And
like,
now he's giving the shout out.
Can we shout out the Christmas gift? Thank you, the man that made that jingle, at M. Volmar Music, and his band, The Great Romance, sent us a Christmas package with little sweatbands.
I mean, his
candy.
email to me. Dude, your email to me, man.
And also, their little LP.
A Christmas thing. This is for Mikey Christmas. Mikey Christmas has been playing this when he's been decorating his Christmas tree. Mikey Christmas.
So Mikey Christmas.
Is it Mikey Christmas?
And a happy new year.
I don't know what just happened, but
I don't have my headphone
say-
because it's at home. That's why I don't have
Go
it.
to
It's under the Christmas tree.
thegreatromance.com. Check them out. They're a bunch of great dudes.
Yeah, with great chocolate, and I wrote the sweetest email to you.
His email is like, I was like,
And the
I get
card
to-
to us. You guys
I
read the
cry
card you wrote
like
to
at the
us?
drop
Did you
of a
see that
hat,
yet?
but
The
what's
card,
that?
the
His
Great
email
Romance
was-
wrote to us?
Oh, it's
God.
beautiful.
So beautiful. Thank you so much.
It's right here.
But
You
to
gotta
all
read
you
it.
guys at home, we really
Thank you
appreciate
very
you
much.
guys. This is the time of year where you
And
tell
look at
people
the
you love them and
even
you
the
appreciate
people
them.
that I argue
yo.
with on the comments on YouTube. I love you guys, and I try and always bring in.
Is that his band? Is that the moniker of his
This is
band?
them. This is them right here.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
The Great Romance.
Yeah. We all want
Cheers.
some great romance, don't we?
Let's keep
guys,
it
we're in
PG.
TV time. You know
yeah.
who I interviewed last night?
Who?
Danielle Panabaker.
What?
From Flash.
Really?
Caitlin, yeah.
Get out.
Oh, really?
Yep.
How is
I
she?
did.
Is she cool?
Yeah, this is the
When
second
did you
time.
interview her?
She called in.
Can
but
pull your
last
headband
time
up
she
a
came
little
in,
bit. It's
Why?
creeping me out because it's like pulling your eyebrow up and you're kind of like.
Thanks.
So wait, what were you interviewing her
better.
on? What show?
For our sister network AfterBuzz for the Flash, she
for
called
the after? Okay.
in. Yeah, she. This is a weird place for it though.
It feels- it looks better.
Thank you. So actually she called in. She came into studio a year ago as of yesterday, and she called in yesterday. So it was so random, but a year apart from each other.
Cool.
She's the sweetest. You guys saw last night. Spoiler alert: she had her first kiss with Jay Garrick. And
Yeah.
she had a lot of talks with the director
glad
about
he's
like
back.
how to make it tasteful and the writers.
I
And
thought you were gonna say how to make it taste good. I was like,
no, because her husband died, and
Yeah, but it kind of blew him off. He's
Yeah,
kind of like,
no, but
you're
they-
gone, and we've already replaced you as Firestorm. So
I feel like they spent a really, really appropriate amount of time, and that they handled it with the.
There were two scenes. It was several episodes ago with them. It was just they were great together.
Yeah.
I think it was well deserved.
Are we really talking about a kiss when Martian Manhunter showed up? Come on.
oh.
That came out of.
dear.
Did you hear what I said?
What?
Did you hear what I
What
said?
did we? What happened?
When? Just now?
Talk about it.
Talk about
What?
Talk about it.
Oh, what?
Did you not see it?
Oh, but we talked about it. You said we should
We talked about it outside.
Yeah.
I didn't talk about it.
You heard.
but Roxy-
See,
But
you
you
said
don't
you-
pay attention to me when I talk. I knew it.
Are you saying you didn't know right now
I
until?
knew it.
It's
She
on
doesn't.
Twitter.
I say one thing to her.
Okay.
See,
But
look,
you did.
I'm
So
talking
you're just-
to her,
this
and
is
she's
a-
not even looking at me right now.
But here's the thing, Roxy. I saw his tweet, so I knew it was coming before I watched the episode. But we got to talk about
I
it.
saw on Twitter.
Basically, yeah, I tweeted
awesome.
out. I
Yeah.
tweeted out that Martian Manhunter appeared on Supergirl, and I guess I ruined it for a lot
Then
of
you
people.
recanted.
Yeah.
But I didn't. It wasn't ruined for me, so I mean, I was surprised.
It was out of left field, though.
I feel like I'm the
So out
only
of
one
left
who's been
field.
keeping up with Supergirl every week, and now all of a sudden I'm one episode behind, and this is the episode. that we
Guys, look at
decided
that
to-
picture. Is that like the best DC Comics
The
translation
way that
ever?
they shot that too,
Yep.
the turnaround and the way
Yes.
they zoomed up, I was like, that DP on that episode, phenomenal.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. They did a good job of keeping it
Good
quiet.
for them. Good
And
for
I know
them.
some people saw it and were like, as soon as they saw the red eyes, they were like, "Oh, he's Martian Manhunter," and it makes sense.
You
He's
know
got
how
the
they kept
voice.
it because Michael Williamson wasn't building that costume. He wasn't like,
Exactly.
hey, Supergirl episode 8, I got something to talk
By the way,
about.
I love it without the cape. Like, I love that costume top to bottom. That
His
is
head's got the
amazing.
ridges like the new 52 version of it, which is great. I mean,
shape shifting son of a
it came
gun.
out of nowhere.
My question is like, are they going to use him? He's not going to look like that a lot.
No, he's
John
gonna
Jones.
No, he's gonna be. Yeah, exactly.
And the way he pronounced it, it was like Jean Jones. Like it had that je, not
you see,
the
you know,
je.
every time you read the comics, you're like, how am I saying this? And
Yes,
we think
John
of it the way we
Jones.
say it.
It was like Jean
Jones.
Jones. He had a really cool way of saying it, and it was
The
really
actor,
cool.
man, he got me. Like,
David Harewood.
the way that they
Yeah.
just filmed him and half lit his face and they gave him that monologue there, and I was like, man,
Well done.
really good stuff.
Really. And how
Can't
about?
wait to watch it.
How about?
Wait, it's called
Well, it
Roxy
is
Striar's
TV,
TV
I
time, and
know.
somebody was drinking whiskey last night instead of
go.
watching
Oh,
Supergirl.
yeah.
Roxy,
So-
usually I never get to watch TV. I even got to see it.
So I'm sorry, kids. This is why you should be sober.
Yeah.
But how great
Well,
was?
whiskey took over.
And here's the thing,
Was it
you guys
Glenlivet?
you're right. You
Glenn
guys are
Fiddick?
dead right. No, Jameson. I
We only
love
go
it
over
a
the
lot.
Jameson. Did you ever see Brian Cox drinking whiskey for all the different whiskeys and pronouncing them? It's a good YouTube video. Brian Cox.
How great was Mark Hamill as Trickster?
Again, he's amazing.
It brings me back to my childhood.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I love about it? Do you guys think he's pretty much doing his Joker, like a little bit different, but it's very much like his Joker?
His Trickster was before his Joker.
And
1990 with the Flash.
Yeah,
His Trickster was before his Joker.
I love watching it.
That
do
was
it.
92,
The Joker
right?
that we all love
His Joker was his Trickster.
came from the Trickster.
Yeah.
But it's very much the same kind of thing, right?
And on that show, they had a character called Prank.
Really?
Yes, she was his sidekick called Prank.
Oh.
Whenever I had kids, one of them was going to be named Prank. I like it.
Prank, I would say Prank Striar. But
Did you guys
keep the
hear
last
that?
Name.
Did you hear the reference to Harley Quinn that he said? He's like,
I missed it.
it's like something with like something Holly, with like the girl's body parts named Harley. Like it was like a crisp.
Yeah, it flew by. It was quick, and I just like,
I
what did
wrote
he
it
just
down.
say? I watched it on Netflix, and when you rewind on Netflix,
Guys,
it either
what-
goes like half the
tell me
episode,
what
or you
was-
can't
Can't
do it.
watch it on Netflix.
What? Hulu. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know what I mean.
No, I didn't know what you meant.
It was like Boughs of Harley, fa la 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 la. It was like the body
Hulu.
parts from a girl named Harley, fa la 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 la.
yeah.
He did that, and I was like, did he?
When he was
just-
on the TV?
Yeah, when it was on last night.
No, when it was on the TV? Like when he came and broadcasted
No,
to the TV?
it was when he first started singing, and he
was buying-
and then Captain Cole was like, "Those aren't the lyrics."
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, am I crazy? That was definitely a Harley reference.
No,
right?
I didn't hear it, but
Maybe.
that's cool. I thought the bigger thing for me though, the bigger thing for me though was the 30 seconds that we saw of Wally West crushed. I loved that scene.
So great.
Really, really strong. I thought he was great.
Yeah, that was really good. That was really sweet. You know what was cool about like this?
No
You know what I
Hawkgirl
liked
in
about
this
this episode?
And she's gone now.
Yeah, she's gone. She's off on the other thing. There was a Christmas episode, but that still worked. I mean, there was Zoom.
I love
It
Christmas
didn't like
episodes.
slow down the progress of the story of the show.
The reveal of Zoom, the whole Zoom thing, it was a fizzle out to me.
Really?
Yes, they built
this
him
episode.
Up, they built him up as this huge bad, like Harrison Wells level, and it fizzled. He just wants the Speed Force. He's just a Speed Force addict, and it just.
Okay.
I mean, I
That
could be
worked
wrong,
for me.
but
I
it
like
fizzled
that
for me
scene.
compared to Harrison Wells.
I like being
Fizzled.
up close and seeing him talk and like. And I like the fact that he's making Harrison Wells a bad guy again. Like,
Yeah,
Here's
he's
what
just
did-
going back to Earth 1, Harrison Wells.
A couple things didn't work. Number one, the magnet bombs. Are you kidding?
Yeah, that was lame.
And then they tried to explain it, and it got worse. Like, what? What the
really-
hell is that?
It's a science.
You know what
like,
else I will say? I have a little bit of a bone to pick with. Do you guys think it's very similar to the first season plot? That it's like a Reverse Flash wanted to build him up, make him faster, so he could then like open up the time. And he's like, now this guy who's his enemy wants him to be faster, so he could steal his speed.
I love
like,
when I watch an
very
episode.
similar.
I love to go back to a lot of sites and read different people's reviews that write good in depth. And across the board, this was a not well reviewed episode.
Yeah, I saw that. I was pretty surprised.
Oh, really?
actually.
It always hits like a high 8 or a high 9 on a 10 scale with everyone, and this was like in the 7s. Granted, it's a great
Yeah.
show, so it's not going to do like a shit,
Right.
review, but it was kind of reminiscent of Zoom. I mean, of Wells with Reverse Flash. So
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I still think
I'm loving
Zoom
Arrow.
looks
I'm sorry,
badass
Arrow
though.
is just Arrow's killing it. I love Arrow.
Arrow's on tonight. Season finale's on tonight. Mid-season finale.
This season.
Yeah.
But like the whole thing with his son last episode, because I just caught up on the 2-parter. I just watched that last night. I didn't watch it already, but I think
You know what I
it's
hate
great.
about Arrow though is I give that his son 2 episodes before he's like
Yeah, of
already has
course. Yeah.
a quiver of arrows and he's gonna be like,
oh,
baby.
yeah, I got you.
I'm kidding.
Oh, Oliver's son.
Yeah, Oliver's son's gonna be out there
Can we
with
just
little
say, I know we
arrows.
talked a little bit of time last episode, but Shiara, when she was in ancient Egypt with that black hair,
So hot.
oh my god, she's hot as it is, but then the hair, holy god. I
Yeah,
wasn't sold
Shiara
on,
Renee
I'm not
kills.
sold on Hawkman. Not sold on him.
I liked him.
I thought he was great.
I liked him a lot. I liked that. I think he had a good.
See, I kind of felt that way about her at first, at her acting performance before she became Hawkgirl. I thought she was a really, I don't know, something about it.
Really.
And you said she's not super experienced, right? She
No,
was
no, Broadway.
She's really experienced.
Oh,
She's a
okay.
Broadway
I think
star,
she's
but
great.
she's not.
I think it was him.
Like I
wasn't
said,
too
it was just
sold
my
on.
first impression, and don't kill me for it. That's
Right.
just
no,
my
I'm not
opinion.
killing you. I'm glad that she's growing on you.
Hey, let's all kill Johnny.
You guys
Ritual
wanna hear-
sacrifice.
You want to hear my theory on Patty?
Oh yeah, Patty Spivot.
Yeah.
Oh, what's
Big fan.
Guys,
Dad
it's
told her to
time
kinda
for
shut up
Roxy
the other time.
Striar's theory time. She thinks
Never
that
mind,
Patty's fine.
I do.
Patty. All right.
Yeah, she
Go for
is.
it. What's
She's
your-
damn fine. Here's the thing. I think that she's actually from Earth 2, and that she is here, and she is a bad guy, and she is working under Zoom.
That son of a.
I think that she is not who she says
Is she under him?
And I think something along those lines for a couple of reasons. And there was a
Why?
weird moment in last night's episode where she talked about Mr. Jiggle Biggles. and getting Mr. Jiggle
Oh, the doll.
Yeah, well, it was called Jiggle Biggle.
Jiggle
She
Biggle.
talked about
Teddy
getting Jiggle
Ruxpin
Biggles
kind
from
of
her
thing.
dad growing up, and then Wells talked about giving his daughter Jiggle Biggles, but we know his daughter's Jessie Quick, but there's something weird going on there. They both mentioned it, and also,
But Jiggle Biggles obviously exist. I just like saying that exist in Earth 1, right? Because
did
they
she-
had Jiggle Biggles there.
yeah, how did she have a gun to stop the Flash last night? How did she have that just on hand?
What do you mean? Isn't she a cop?
She's a cop, but it wasn't a gun. It tied his leg down to the ground. Like that was
Oh,
a
that
weird
thing. Oh, wait,
thing.
that weird.
Yeah. And that's
That
not
was a weird device to be carrying. Wait,
Yeah.
listen.
And she got to the
Wasn't 'cause
Jiggle
she was
Biggle
part of the
factory. No, she got to the
Metahuman
Jiggle Biggle
Task
factory
Force.
way too quick. She got there really fast to Jiggle Biggles. And
Why are we saying Jiggle Biggle so much?
isn't that what it's called?
There's a major plot point.
The Jiggle Biggle.
Yeah.
And I think that she knows who Barry is and is using all of this. I'm telling you, my
On
eyes
these
on her.
shows, who doesn't know who
Wait,
everyone
does she
is
know?
anymore?
Wait, does she not know who? Everybody, way too much. Does
too
she
much.
not? She doesn't know who Flash is, right?
She claims not to, but I think
Because they
she
both said
does.
like that they were seeing someone.
Yeah, but I
Which
think
was
that
a
she
cute
does.
line.
That was cute, and I love them together. But I do think.
So you
that
think that Jiggle Biggles was a red herring? I was going nowhere with that. I just wanted to get one more Jiggle Biggles
people
in.
in here say, yeah, they're liking the Jiggle Biggles.
Well, guys, it's been over a full hour, so it's time for us to jiggle biggle our way
Oh.
Johnny, your transitions are spot on.
for the
dude.
rest of the
That's
week.
good.
I know it is. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. Adam Gertler, put yourself over, sir.
Oh, well, listen, guys. I'll be enjoying the rest of the year ordering gifts from my couch on Amazon and not going to malls like Mikey Christmas over here because that's
love it.
crazy. I'm at Adam
love it.
Gertler.
You guys can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar. Happy holidays.
Kalinowski.
You guys can find me at Mike Kalinowski. Again, Matt, thanks for the stuff, buddy. So,
You're a man.
awesome, man.
So much less sweat
I,
now.
I like you so much that I wore this on my head for the
Yeah.
last. It's like squeezing my
I love
brain.
and I love your fan theories out there. Everything
Yeah.
you guys throw at me. So
Hell yeah.
I try to respond to it as best I can.
Digging it. I got a couple comedy shows coming up. Wednesday, December 23rd in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Back home, it's my 5th annual holiday show. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Philadelphia, Saturday, December 19th. I'm doing a couple shows in Yardley with a buddy of mine. So hit me up on
Nice.
social
Yardley?
media.
Aren't you going somewhere tonight?
The Jiggle Biggle store?
Just North Hollywood.
Guys, North Hollywood tonight. Go check them out.
Show up. Hey, see you next week. We love you guys.
Peace. From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Christian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.